Hi, this is Brett Ingram, award-winning entrepreneur, and today I want to share with you 10 side hustles for entrepreneurs to boost their income. So we've all heard of the side hustle, and the basic idea is it's something that we can do in addition to what we're already doing. So whether or not we are already running a business, whether we have an idea to run a business, but maybe we're working a job right now. So we're looking for ways to sort of flex our entrepreneurial muscles and be in a situation where we can do stuff that we have more control over our own income, our own work, and our own sort of lifestyle. So side hustles can be a really great way for entrepreneurs because one of the things they can do is add an income stream. So being able to add an income stream is always good. But in addition to that, they can also diversify what we already have. So maybe we already have a business and maybe things are, whether they're going well or not, if all of our sort of proverbial eggs are in the one basket and we're reliant on that, we are a little susceptible to economic fluctuations, market fluctuations, any kind of industry changes, competitive forces, things like that. And so while that may be our main passion or our main line of business, at the same time, there's a lot of intelligence in wanting to diversify that so we can protect it against big fluctuations or against any kinds of issues. And so if we're in a situation where we're looking for something, we could talk about a variety of ideas that we can undertake based on what we prefer to do and based on what our skill sets are. So it allows entrepreneurs to diversify their income, add additional income, test new business ideas. Maybe we want to start it as a side hustle, but if it goes really well, go all in on it. And pursue passions that might not fit within the main business. So maybe we have some passions that we just aren't able to sort of scratch that itch in the main business that we're doing. Even though we like what we're doing, there's some sort of unfulfilled piece of who we are, and we want to be able to unlock that as well. So here are 10 popular side hustles for entrepreneurs. And again, each one is going to have its different pros and cons. The first is freelancing. So if we have a skill like writing, if we have a skill like graphic design, if we have a skill like web development, or even digital marketing, social media marketing, things like that, those skills are in very high demand right now because there are a lot of people, a lot of companies, and a lot of would-be entrepreneurs out there that need that, but they don't really have it. And so there are these platforms out there like Upwork, like Freelancer, like Fiverr, and all of those platforms are going to allow us to go on, create a profile, and we can even create gigs or just a profile with the kind of work that we do, charge what we want, and basically work on demand. So as people come to us and find us on there, we can decide whether or not we want to take that business or not. And so in that way, there's a lot of flexibility, but there's also a lot of control because we can do the thing that we really love, but we can do it for clients that we really want and sort of cherry pick that stuff. If we get a sense that it's not really a great gig for us, we don't have to take it. And so being a freelancer and doing sort of outsource work in that one way is a really effective way to be able to sort of build up a side hustle that way. And we can find clients very easily without needing to hunt and search for them by using those platforms. The second thing that we can do is we can do consulting. So this is more for someone if we have expertise in a certain area. So a skill is better for freelancing, but an expertise or experience somewhere is better in consulting. So if we have an expertise in a certain industry or a certain marketing method, or it doesn't matter what it is, like this is where we need to get creative. We need to evaluate what our strengths are. We need to evaluate what our experience looks like and what things are leverageable. What things would other people want from us that we could help them? If we were going to be a consultant and go into XYZ company, what would we advise them? What are the skills or what are the benefits we could provide them? That's going to give us the big clue as to the area of consulting that we can work best in. Now, one of the great things about consulting is it can be really lucrative. We can charge a lot of money to the right clients for this. It's a little bit harder usually to find the clients. It's not quite the same as like Upwork or Fiverr, where you just put up a profile and everyone starts to beat down your door. At the same time, Once you start to get a little bit of a foothold and you have a couple of successful client interactions and engagements, now you're going to be able to leverage that into even more. And again, with consulting, we have a lot of freedom to be able to pick and choose the clients and the projects that we want. So it's great as a side hustle or as a way to sort of vet whether or not our experience or our skills are good enough in a particular area that it could sustain an entire business. You know, a lot of people have an idea, and I think Michael Gerber termed it an entrepreneurial seizure. And basically what he's saying is someone who is a technician, someone who's very good at what they do, decides, oh, I'm going to start a business because I'm good in this. But they don't understand that starting a business is a totally different animal. So the idea is the benefit that we get with something like this as consulting as a side hustle is it lets us vet all that. It lets us see, first of all, is this something we'd want to keep doing? Or was this fun, but we don't want to do it anymore? Because obviously, if we're passionate and we want to keep doing it, then maybe it's something we want to start to build. But if we're sort of like, okay, we've got that out of our system, we don't need to do that anymore, then that's not a direction that we want to go in. So the idea is that it allows us to be able to figure out whether or not there's really the viability for a business there, both from our own abilities, demand for our products and services, and also just our desire to do what it is that we're doing. So we can offer knowledge to other businesses, and we can do it on a per project basis. We can offer skills as well. And if we have a team, we may even be able to outsource some of the services to our own team for other clients. A third thing that we can do is we can create online courses and workshops. If you have a creativity side to you, it doesn't need to be like art and craft creativity. I mean, I'm terrible at drawing, I'm terrible at pottery, I'm terrible at anything that's like artistic, but I actually like to create courses. I like to create webinars. There's something fun about going through the process of laying out the steps to be able to teach somebody something and then going and executing that and being able to teach it. So if we have a desire, we have an inclination to want to do that, we can actually create online courses or conduct workshops. These can be done by webinar, by membership site. There's 100 different ways to do it, and it can be an excellent way to leverage our expertise and earn passive income with it. Because the brilliant thing about an e-course, unlike coaching and unlike freelancing or consulting or freelancing, is that with freelancing and with consulting, we're getting paid for work done. So at the end of the day, we are still trading time for money. When we start to develop things like e-courses and membership sites and things like that, now we have leverage because now we create it once and we profit forever. We might need to update the product occasionally, but we could keep making sales and there's no limit to what we're going to be able to do with that. So that's a really powerful way to be able to generate a passive income and do it as a side hustle as well, and do it in a way that's leverageable and scalable far beyond freelancing, consulting, and things like that. A fourth thing that we can look at is we can look at e-commerce. We can sell products through online platforms like Etsy or Amazon. You know, Amazon, what most people may not even realize is that a large percentage of the products that are sold through Amazon are not sold by Amazon. They're sold by smaller vendors. You can set up an account, you can sell products and services directly through Amazon to their customer base, you fulfill them yourself. So it's sort of like eBay, but it's a marketplace instead of an auction site. And with Etsy, obviously, that's more given to arts and crafts and things like that, but it's a similar idea. If we have a skill where we could create a certain kind of thing and we want an outlet for that, we can open up a shop and do sort of e-commerce by selling that. The other nice thing about this is, you know, in general, these are physical, durable, tangible products. In today's digital age, while there are a lot of benefits to digital products and while a lot of people love that, it hasn't changed the fact that dropshipping and e-commerce is still massive. I mean, there are tons of people that are buying, physical products online every single day. And so if we're able to step in front of that and we're able to start doing drop shipping, we're able to sell on Amazon, the beautiful thing is we're no longer in the day and age where we need to create our own store website. First of all, that was difficult to begin with. Now there are so many platforms that make it automatic. But even beyond that, we don't even need to really generate our own traffic anymore. We can do SEO and we can do some other things, but because we have these marketplaces that already have tons of traffic, if we have products and services that are searchable on there, we have the ability to make sales. I've gone on Amazon to search for things that I want to buy, and I'll find it through another vendor, or I'll find an alternative product that I hadn't considered. And when I look down and I realize I'm about to check out, I realize it's not fulfilled by Amazon. It's fulfilled by a third-party vendor. And so it doesn't come in the Amazon box, but the service and the experience as the user is exactly the same. So you leverage the credibility of a company like Amazon or Etsy without needing to be that yourself or build that yourself. So that allows us to create an e-commerce business fast and easy and make it very scalable as well. A fifth thing that's sort of out of the digital marketing scape, if you will, is real estate investing. Now, obviously, this requires more money than some of these other methods. It's not purely just a roll up the sleeves, I'm going to do a little bit of work and exchange it for money. This is something where we would need some capital to be able to invest, but we can buy property, we can rent it out, we can flip houses. I know a lot of people that find that a very satisfying and very profitable enterprise. I mean, the fact of the matter is with real estate, the one brilliant thing about the market is over time, it typically only goes up. And so we may have bubbles, and those bubbles may burst, and we may find the housing prices drop. But even despite the current economic situation with the interest rates through the roof, the housing prices are still rising, and the sales are still increasing. In where I live, we just got a letter in the mail the other day from some real estate broker who said in our area, real estate has gone up 26% in the last year. So in 1 year alone, now you can't count on that every year. I know when my wife and I bought our house, within a year, like we bought at essentially the top of the market. And within a year, it had actually dropped about 10% in value. So that was pretty discouraging. But the fact of the matter is, you fast forward years later, and it's far beyond what it was when we paid for it, and on and on. So again, the issue there is having capital that we have free to be able to invest. But if we do, real estate is a really valuable option, a viable option for a lot of people. And, there's a learning curve like there is with anything else, but you can always connect with someone who already has experience and expertise, learn from them instead of going it alone. Sixth thing, and I touched on this briefly along with the e-commerce, I sort of bunched them together, but they are a little bit different, is dropshipping. And dropshipping is a little bit different because typically with e-commerce, we're actually selling the product ourselves. So we might be housing the product, we might be packaging the product and shipping it. With dropshipping, what we're doing is setting up an online store where we're selling products, but those products are coming directly from suppliers. And those suppliers handle all the fulfillment. So our only job is to get customers into the website and to make the purchases. The warehouse or the company or the brand or whatever it is, the manufacturer is the one that actually creates the products, packages them, ships them. And so we don't need to worry about inventory. We don't need to worry about having a huge investment or capital overhead for a warehouse or product backlog or any of that kind of stuff. All we have to do is set up a site that makes the sales, and the manufacturer and supplier does all the rest of the work. So drop shipping is another potentially very lucrative thing, and it's easy to get involved in because there's so much little work on our end that everybody else is doing most of the work. And so it's something that if we wanted to start as a side hustle, we're more than capable of being able to do that. A seventh thing that we can do as a side hustle is content creation. And when I mean content creation, I mean something with the angle or with the idea to be able to monetize it. So this could be a blog, it could be a YouTube channel, it could be a podcast. And the idea of that is there are 100 different ways to monetize it once we've got it built. The biggest challenge with any of that is creating enough content to have enough of a following so there's something that you can be able to monetize it with. So when we're able to do that, we can get sponsors for our blog. We can get sponsors for our podcast. We can get advertisers. We can unlock sort of the paid marketing channel on YouTube. When you hit certain thresholds, they allow you to take part in the revenue sharing for the advertising, where, as soon as you hit those thresholds, you're able to turn on monetization, and now they start to pay you when they run ads on your given thing. So with a blog, we can run ads, we can run articles, we can promote affiliate products. One of the beautiful things about a blog, a YouTube channel, and a podcast is if we find products that we believe in, we can actually promote those through our own content and generate affiliate commissions. And again, guess what? It's hands-free. We never have to touch the product. We don't have any customer support. We don't have any fulfillment. All we do is promote the product. When people click on the links and they buy, we get paid. And so in that way, it's a really, really effective way. Now, content creation as a side hustle, one important thing to note is this is a long-term strategy. So you could do it an hour a day. You could do it 30 minutes a day or an hour every other day. But it's going to take some time to get enough content to get traction. So as long as we're aware of that when we go in, and we're not expecting, I'm going to start a side hustle this weekend, and by next week I'm going to be making a ton of affiliate commissions with my content, that isn't really going to work. However, if we are willing to put in the time and be consistent with it, consistency is the key when it comes to content creation, quality and consistency. If we have those two things, it can grow and grow and grow, and eventually get to a point where it's a really strong generator of passive income for us through ads, sponsorships, and affiliate marketing. An eighth thing that we can do, if we're a little bit gutsier or we have a little bit of a technical edge in ourselves, we can create an app. We can do app development. So if we have any coding skills, fantastic, we can do it ourselves, right? We can develop a mobile app, we can develop a desktop app or a SaaS app or whatever it is. But even if we don't, if we have a great idea for one, we can always put the feelers out there to see what it would look like, what it would cost in order to get this created for us. So we could go on Upwork and we could post a job and we could say, this is the app we want to create. The more detail that we provide and the more specifics we provide, the better estimates we're going to get. The more people are going to be interested because they know we're serious, but also the more realistic we're going to get in terms of the cost structure. Because one of the challenges with software development in particular is that the costs tend to always overrun the budget, and the time frame does too. So we want to make sure that we build in for that if that's the way that we want to go. But it can be very lucrative in the sense that we can set it up as a SaaS or software as a service where we set it up. And again, it might need maintenance and tweaks, but it's largely prepaid by creating the app. And then as users come into the app and they pay us for it, they pay us every single month and we keep cashing in. So we could do that to tap into trending niches, or if we have a particular product or service we think would work really well with an app. A ninth thing that we can do is stock photography or sort of like stock imagery or artwork, right? If we are skilled and we're a great illustrator or a great photographer, we can sell our photos on stock photography websites. This is probably a less profitable thing than it used to be. Now with the advent of AI and the ability to go out and find things and have images created specifically for you, at the same time, the opportunity still does exist. So if we really love photography, we can still tap into our passion and at the same time sell our photography to those websites, and that will give us a residual income when people download and use that. Same thing, by the way, works with illustrations. If we create illustrations or icons or graphics, there are all these websites out there that are libraries and warehouses for this stuff. And when people sign up, they can download our particular collection and we get paid every single time. And so if we have any sort of creative bone in our body about those kinds of things, the visual arts, then that's a really great way to do it. And then the 10th thing that we can do is sort of my antithesis, but I know for a lot of people they love it, is crafting an art. If we are artistic, if we like to create or sell artwork or handmade crafts, that can be something that is super fulfilling because it's gratifying to do it and we get a sense of accomplishment. And then the fact that somebody wants to buy that from us is gratifying. It's rewarding. And so it can be both fulfilling and profitable. The bottom line is choosing the right side hustle depends on our skills, our interests, and the amount of time that we can invest. But it is often best to pick something that aligns with our existing skills or at least enhances our main business. So the takeaway here is that whether we want to boost our income or we want to diversify so we can minimize risks of fluctuation, there are a bunch of side hustles that we can do that can be simple enough yet profitable enough to make them worthwhile. We have a lot of flexibility, but it's important to pick something that we're passionate about or have a skill or expertise in so we stack the odds in favor of being successful.